Welcome to the Teaching Journeys podcast, hosted by Dave Roberts. Humanity possesses a unique skill, the ability to pass knowledge from one generation to the next. This podcast embraces that ability, offering learning opportunities through conversations with extraordinary guests. Dave aims to leave a positive mark on individuals around the world. So before you dive into today's episode, please share this podcast with your network, including friends, family, and colleagues. And please consider leaving a rating or review. Your support makes all the difference.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Teaching Journeys podcast. I'm your host, Dave Roberts, and today it is my pleasure to have as my guest, Kora Franco. Kora is the founder and CEO of Aesthetic Wines, a modern luxury wine brand rooted in resilience, ambition, and bold self-expression. Guided by a deeply personal journey shaped by both triumph and personal loss, Kora believes that luxury is a mindset, one defined by intention, confidence, and the ability to appreciate the journey as much as the destination. Before founding Aesthetic Wines, Kora built her career in banking and consulting, working with top financial institutions and one of the big four consulting firms in New York City. Her experience navigating high performance, male-dominated environments sharpened her strategic mindset, discipline, and leadership style, while reinforcing her passion for empowering women to move boldly, claim their space, confidence, and define success on their own terms. Wine became a natural extension of that philosophy. Through moments of reflection and celebration shared over thoughtfully curated tastings with friends and family, Kora recognized wine as more than a beverage. It is a symbol of mindset, milestones, and the perseverance behind every achievement. This realization became the foundation of Aesthetic Wines, a brand created for those who live intentionally, rise resiliently, and understand that true luxury begins within. Under Kora's leadership, Aesthetic Wines continues to inspire a community that values confidence, connection, and empowerment, honoring not just where they are, but everything it took to get there. Kora, welcome to the Teaching Journeys podcast. It's a pleasure having you on the program today.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
And we got to give a shout out to Candace Snyder. Candace is the host of Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. Candace emailed me and asked if I'd be interested in an introduction to you. And of course, I read your profile, browsed your website, and said absolutely. And we had a really, I think, great introductory call. And voila, here we are today. We're going to talk about resilience, wine, and probably everything else in between.
Yes.
You have quite a journey, many, many ups and downs, filled by loss, and this is my interpretation, disillusionment at some points in the journey, but you've risen above all of that. So with that segue, I'm going to ask you to tell our audience about those major experiences that have shaped who you are today.
Oh, good question. So it actually, the life-changing moment started when I was 11 years old. I know, and it's such a young age for these, for a life-changing moment, but started at 11 years old when my mom, she had passed away from cancer. And then a year later, I found out that the guy that I thought was my biological father actually wasn't. So essentially at the age of 12 years old, I was left to being an orphan. Of course, not knowing my identity or anything like that. When I would say probably like early teens, I went on this long search of okay, well, who is my father? Because I needed to know my identity. So to go back on the journey, so my mom, she actually she got pregnant when she was in college. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? Let me start there. So I grabbed the yearbook from the school that she went to, and me thinking okay, this is going to be easy peasy because where she went to school at is predominantly Caucasian and I'm African American. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be easy because not too many people look like me. Get the yearbook, go through it, and found out it is an HBCU. So they all look like me. So that really wasn't too helpful. So then I started trying to reach out to her past friends, women talk. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe they know something. And none of them knew anything. So I'm like, okay, that was dead end as well. Then I tried AncestryDNA, trying to put the piece of the puzzle together there. The closest match that I got through AncestryDNA, it was a third cousin. So a third cousin is pretty much like anyone out here. So that didn't really help too much. So then I was like, okay, well, with all of these matches within AncestryDNA, I really need to know like who I'm contacting, who I'm reaching out to. So the way to decipher, who was on my mom's side and who was on my dad's side was to actually ask my cousin and my aunt from my mother's side to take the test. So therefore, I'm like, okay, whatever matches we have in common, then I know that's the mom's side. And then I know that I can contact the others. So that's definitely the father's side. So I asked them to take the DNA test. They took it. So then I was able to decipher, okay, the mom's side from the dad's side. Did that, reached out to so many people on the father's side, like, oh, did you know anyone that went to this school this year? Got so many no's. I don't know who that is. So I'm like, okay, this is another dead end. So I was like, okay, let me try something else. I went on Facebook. On Facebook, they have these groups where these women, it's called something angels. They're like little detectives, basically. So you just give them all the information that you have. They try to like investigate and try to help you out. And I thought that was gonna be a sure deal because they had some pretty good results. And the person that was working on my case, she said that she was at a dead end, couldn't figure anything out. So, of course, like throughout the years, I just kept contacting people from AncestryDNA. So 15 years later, someone reached back out to me. They're like, hey, like what school did you say your mom went to? I told them the school. And then she's like, yeah, she's like, we have two cousins that went to that school. She's like, maybe one of them is the father. So she reached out to the first guy and he was like, no, he was like, I didn't date her. He's like, but my brother dated her. So then they reached out to him and then he was like, oh yeah, we dated. And, then she left. I haven't heard anything from her and so forth. So we agreed to do a DNA test. And I flew out to South Carolina. We did the DNA test. And then because I'd put in a rush order, I really wanted to know. About like a week later, I came back 99.99% positive that he was the father. So going through that journey, I would say that is what really built up my resilience. Like just getting so many like, no, no, no's, this isn't it, that's not it. 15 years of it. So it definitely built up that resilience within myself. And then I know you're probably thinking like, oh, okay, well, how did this lead into like a wine brand? One of the ways that it led up to the wine brand is throughout this journey, one of the things that I would do with my aunt and my cousins and so forth, we would go to this place called Cooper's Hawk in Ohio. So whenever I thought that I was getting closer to finding him, one of the things that we would do is wine tasting. And then whenever we would be at Cooper's Hawk, I would always say like, oh my gosh, I wish I had my own wine brand. Then one day it's like, you know what? Just do it. Why not? Just do it. So that is how we came up with the ethos for the brand of being bold, ambitious, and resilient because it ties back to the characteristics of what I experienced.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, how
Mhm.
did you get along with the person that you believed was your biological father? Did you have a good relationship with him?
There was no relationship really, and the thing is, so he was in the military, and at that time, he was in Germany. So I was with my grandmother. So when we took the DNA test, I don't know, something triggered a DNA test. Maybe he asked for it, I don't know, but something triggered the DNA test. So he was in Germany, and when my mom had passed away, he was like, I guess he had a conversation with my grandmother, like, okay, well, she needs to be with me. I'm just going to take her. So something triggered the DNA test. We took the DNA test, and it was like, oh, well, she's not mine. So that was it. Never heard from him after that. That was it.
At 11 years old, early experience matters. And I've said this on other podcasts, losing a parent,
Hmm.
particularly
Hmm.
losing a mother, and that mother-daughter relationship
Hmm.
particularly is precious.
Yes.
And at 11 years old, you're right now on the cusp of being a preteen,
Yep.
going into puberty,
Exactly.
and you need your mom for that.
Exactly.
And I can imagine that coupled with just the rejection of the person who turned out not to be your biological
Mhm.
father for an
Right.
11-year-old, that had to be overwhelming for you.
Yes, it was a lot. That's what I'm saying, like, it's crazy because, like, at such a young age, it's like I had to have that resilience. So, like, that resilience is just I hate to say it, it's just I had to. Like, I just had to survive, basically. It's like, in order to find out my identity, in order to just get through, like, different milestones, like you stated, like, puberty and so forth, like, I had to have that resilience, and, yeah, it's crazy to go through that at such a young age, but I think I hate to say this, but, like, I just feel like everything's happened for a reason. I mean, I think it happened for a reason.
I think when we're in the throes of dealing with it, it's hard to really look and say, well, there's a reason for this happening. There's a reason that I'm going through this challenge. It's hard
Mhm.
for us to see that this challenge is in our best benefit or our
Exactly.
best interest. But when, we could step back and say, yeah, this challenge shaped who I was. And, we're not going to get through life
Exactly.
without going through challenge, Corey. You know that. Um,
Exactly.
but it's how we address that that's going to determine the quality of the life we lead and the
Yep.
impact that we're going to have. And what is impressive to me is that at 11 years old, you could have just checked
Mhm.
out. You could have hit the streets.
Mhm.
You could have gotten into substance abuse or a variety of different, unsavory behaviors, but you didn't.
Right.
I know you said you developed that resilience, that determination to rise above your circumstances at 11 and find out, who am
Mhm.
I? Who is my
Right.
father? Do you think the resilience you developed, was it genetic? Was it based on just the influence of your environmental circumstances or a combination of the two?
That's a very good question. And I do wonder, I was talking to someone earlier today about characteristics. Are they genetic? Like personality characteristics? Is it genetic or is it that you became a product of your environment? So I do definitely feel like I became a product of my environment. I had to like do what I had to do to survive. But as far as genetic, that's a very good question. Okay. I'm still trying to figure that one out. I was just talking to someone else today about that. I'm trying to figure that one out, if it's genetic, but I definitely had to adapt to my circumstances.
Now that you know who your biological father is, you could kind of
Mhm.
trace the family tree on his side. Who knows if there was any generational trauma on that side of the family that
Mhm.
fostered the development of resilience through the generations and that
Right.
got passed on to you? Or the other possibility, again, is that the circumstances that you were dealt just clicked in use survival mode. It puts you in survival mode and in a
Mhm.
persistence mode to say, hey, I want to be able to rise above this.
Right.
But at 11 years old to develop that kind of mindset's impressive.
Right. Thank you. But I talk to my dad like continuously, like we talk like every day. Thinking about his personality, and because I used to wonder, oh, where did I get my personality from? He's very, I was, it's a little different than mine. He's very like calm, just very nice and easygoing. I would say with my personality, I'm not a content person. He's content. I'm not a content person. So I will say our personalities differ a little bit. I'm one of those people that's like, I'm this may be bad, but I always want more. I'm like, "Oh my god, I want more," and then I always test myself like, "Okay, well, I conquered this. What more can I do now?" He's content. He's one of those like, "Okay, I achieved it. I'm fine now." But that's not me.
No. And there's nothing bad about wanting to continually grow,
Mm,
wanting to achieve. I remember when I was your age. I mean, that's what we're focused on. And I know you're like 26, right?
yeah, I wish. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome. But
wish.
well, whatever age you are, you don't look it. Let's put it that way. So between the ages of 25 to 44, I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, that's, probably late Gen Z to millennial. We're
Millennial, yeah.
worried, we're thinking about if we're married, we're starting a family, creating a good present, a good future,
Mhm.
achievement, promotion, making sure our
Right.
family's financially secure. So that drive is
Mhm.
continually there. There's nothing wrong with that. I think what tends to happen, at least for me,
Mhm.
when tragedy struck for me, my
Mhm.
priorities changed. I still wanted to achieve, but
Right.
achievement was measured differently. It was
Mhm.
measured in terms of quality of relationships, being
Right.
able to make a difference in somebody's life.
Right.
And
Yes.
the abundance part, the material part took a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had enough to be comfortable, pay my bills.
Right.
But my definition of achievement
Mm-hmm.
just expanded due to my experience with tragedy and my challenges
Right.
with that. But also as I got older, my priorities just naturally evolved. And particularly the
Right. Yep.
more I became inspired by the service work that I do.
Right. No, completely understand it 100%. And someone else, they were asking me not too long ago, they're like, well, like, what is your goal? Like, my goal is I want to make an impact on women. Like, I need to like at least change. I know people say this all the time, but like, just I'm being for real. Like, if I can make a positive impact on at least like one, then I'm good. Like, I have to make a positive impact before I leave this earth. I need to make a positive impact. I need to change somebody's life in a positive way.
Well, and you will. But you're going to always impact that one person, and that one person that
Mm-hmm.
you impact, because they were inspired by you, are going to inspire others
I hope so.
because of what you told them, or what your
Mm-hmm.
presence meant to them. So indirectly, you're
Mm-hmm.
inspiring others through that person that you impacted.
That's the goal.
And Cora, we're never going to know truly the impact that we have on people's
Right.
lives.
That's
Um,
true.
it's just part of the human experience to naturally question,
Mm-hmm.
the effect that we're having on not only on ourselves but on others.
I have like a huge goal. Like I'm hoping that like the goal is maybe in like 5 to 10 years, I would love to have like a VC fund and like invest in women businesses. And then like hopefully they can create like generational wealth and like pass that down to their family and just that's the goal. I'm hoping.
Is your desire to impact the lives of women, is that based on your own experiences with losing your mom, or is are
Mm.
other factors that have contributed to you wanting to be passionate about making a difference in the lives of other women?
I think it's lived experiences definitely. Working in like male dominated, that's definitely one. Another thing is I interact with a lot of like female founders and female founders of color. And I don't know if you know this, but like it's a little harder for them to get venture capital funds.
Uh-huh.
So that's the reason why I actually want to start a VC fund and I want to invest in those women. Because the thing is, like, they'll have these good ideas and so forth, but as you know, women in general get like a very small percentage of VC funds. I think it's like maybe like 6%, but women of color get less than 2% of all of the VC funds in the US. So yeah, so I want to like help fill that gap. The thing they have these great ideas, and you never know, like one of these ideas may actually help change the world. They just need an investment. They need someone to believe in them. So that's where I want to kind of like fill that gap.
Yeah, and I hope you can fill that gap for women and women of color, because
Mm-hmm.
um and I know, ever since I've been in the workforce, there's been a disparity in terms of women
Mm-hmm.
getting less pay for doing the same job. Um
Exactly. Yep.
and I don't know the statistics offhand for women of color, but I would imagine that that disparity is greater.
Yes. Yes.
Um and to me, if you're doing the same job, if you're
Mm-hmm.
doing it competently, you should get paid
Exactly.
the same way.
Yep.
Um,
100%.
but if you're incompetent, whether you're a
Mm-hmm.
man, whether you're a woman, whether you're
Mm-hmm.
transgender, whether you're transsexual,
Yep.
doesn't matter. If you're incompetent and don't conduct your job from a position of integrity and
Mm-hmm.
genuineness, you shouldn't be doing the job.
Exactly. Yep.
And we need, I believe, as a society, to embrace evaluating individuals on merit, on shared
Mm-hmm.
values, and not the color of their skin, not
Exactly.
who they choose to love, period. I mean,
Yep.
that's the way it needs to be. I mean, if you're going to do a job
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm looking for the best qualified candidate, and
Exactly.
period.
Yes, exactly 100%. And that's like one of the reasons why we build Aesthetic for Her, which is an extension of Aesthetic Wines.
Okay.
So instead of having the traditional wine club where it's like, okay, let me send out like your case of wine and then you receive it at home, then I don't know, I guess maybe you open it, you drink it while watching TV or something. I don't know. Want to do something a little bit more impactful. So I'm like, okay, still a wine club, but with a little twist to it. So we built a wine social club, which we're the first in the US to do this. But so basically, we have an app to go with it as well, Aesthetic for Her, which is downloadable on Apple and Google. But when you go into the app, there are different rooms. You know how you go to a social club and you go to different rooms? So there are different rooms. I want you to actually feel like you're there. So there is a room that's dedicated towards business. There is a room that's dedicated towards health and wellness. And then there's also a room that's dedicated strictly for like the wine club. So, but the thing is, we also have in-person events as well. So if you're in this room, like let's just say like the business room, so women in there, they speak amongst one another, like, oh, I'm doing XYZ in business. And then another one be like, oh, well, I'm doing XYZ too. Like, hey, maybe we can collaborate. So there are women in there that are founders. There are women in there that are venture capitalists. So founder, VC. Yes, exactly. So it's like women elevating women. And then, of course, we do have the wine piece as well because, it's the wine social club. So we do have our wine club, but we're doing in-person events as well. Just to give an example of some of the events that we have lined up, we have one that is from the boardroom to the green. As you know, a lot of deals are made on the golf course with
Yep.
men. So basically, the women, we are going to be on a golf course and we have an instructor that's showing the women how to play golf because you know what? So it's like now you'll know how to play golf. When they have those meetings on the green, you can go too. Don't be left out. You can go too. So that's one thing we're working on. Another one that we have is going to be in Napa in September is called Influential Women in Wine. So we're celebrating women in wine. So we're having a dinner in Napa for that. Basically, the trailblazers in wine, that's women. Another one that we are having is, of course, we're doing wellness. So I just spoke with a large brand today, and we're doing a wine and wellness event, and they want to do it next month. So we're incorporate the wellness. But yeah, so basically, it's just women elevating women inside of this app, and we're having in-person events as well. So yeah.
It sounds like it's almost like a virtual walkthrough, almost. Like you can
Yes.
go through any and then just connect. I mean, I'm sure everybody sets up an account. They have
Mm-hmm.
either an avatar or their actual picture, and
Yep.
they actually just interact. They
Yes.
network, they
Yep.
connect.
Mhm.
That sounds amazingly innovative. Um,
Thank you.
Now, do you have a physical plant as well for aesthetic wines, as well as the virtual as well too? Do you have an?
Well, we have the in-person events. So the in-person events are aligned to the different rooms. So whether you're like interested in like mostly wellness, so that's why we have the wellness event. Whether you're mostly interested in business, so that's why we have the business events. Or if you're mostly interested in just wine, then we have like the wine events as well. But the main thing is for you to connect with women connecting with women and then assisting each other in fulfilling those gaps. Wherever there may be a gap, hey, maybe you may meet this woman at the event and she can help you fill that gap. But as far as you mean like a physical location for like wine tasting or
Or
is that
yeah, just do you have a physical plant for, producing a wine, for wine tasting, anything like that?
our wine is made in Napa. So we do have a facility that we utilize there. Of course, I don't work the machinery, but I do the blending though. I was just there, oh gosh, was it a month and a half ago? And I blended a Gewürztraminer, and that would be out soon. But yeah, so the wine is made in Napa and I'm involved.
How does wine relate to resilience?
Ooh, in today's time, it relates highly, especially like, look at me, I'm a Black female in wine. So, of course, and you just heard my backstory. I don't have the traditional backstory of like, oh, I was passed down a vineyard from generation to generation. Yeah, that's not me. So, definitely have to be resilient in this industry with, you know, being one of the few that look like me. At the very beginning, when I first started the brand, there are some gatekeepers, of course, but there was some, I guess, a little bit of pushback and the way that I was spoken to. Yeah, and that was another thing that kind of led me to that app as well. Because I was like, wait a minute, women are the ones who purchase the wine. Like we're the consumers
Mhm.
of wine. We're driving the industry. But when I meet with these people, to buy the grapes and so forth, who own it? I was like, okay, it's men, but we're the drivers of it. But then when you speak with women in the wine industry, they talk about how, they're not as respected. So I'm like, wait a minute. Like, we're the drivers, like, we're the ones that we're keeping it going, you know? But but yeah, so yeah, you definitely have to be resilient in this business if you're not like the traditional wine brand owner.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense that you would have to be, particularly as a single
Mhm.
minority business owner. Yeah, you're going to get some pushback and you're going to get tested.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as a white American, we
Mhm.
bring our histories into any interaction with each other.
Yep.
I have to be very conscious of history between,
Mhm.
African American culture and our culture because, you can't deny the years of
Right.
450 years of slavery, oppression, discrimination, and everything else.
Right.
And I have to be respectful of that. And I also it's up to me to change that history
Mhm.
one interaction at a time with a member from a different culture.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're fine.
I mean, that has to be said
Mhm.
because we bring in our histories and we have to respect that.
Right.
And
Mhm.
I think that can make us more culturally sensitive and make us more aware of being
Right.
compassionate, empathic, if we come in with that mindset. So now I'm a Riesling guy. I like German Rieslings.
Mhm.
So what does that tell you about me personally? The fact that I like a German
Ooh.
Riesling white wine.
Huh, okay. So a little sweetness. For me, I think, like, if I hear like, hearing that, I'm thinking, like, okay, like, a nice softer soul, like, just really a nice soul. That's just what I get from that. But I don't know why I get that, like, a nice soul. Reason is crisp and, like, it's a little softer, and it's not as like, the acidity is not so, like, harsh.
Mm.
So, yes, that's what I get.
I like that profile. I think but most people
Mhm,
would probably
mhm,
see me as that, as somebody who's being soft, very easygoing,
mhm.
a good soul.
Yes.
And German Rieslings are my favorite. I do like a good red
Ooh.
blend as well too, but when I drink wine, it's usually Riesling.
Have you tried the Gewürztraminer?
No.
Okay. I have to send one to you. I have to
Yeah.
send it to you. Yes,
All right.
I'm telling you, I think it's the word because it's like it's long, and I think people are just like, "Imma just stay away," but I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. I have to send one to you.
All right. I'll let you know how I like it. So,
Okay.
in addition to the wines, what other tools have been helpful to you in developing resilience as a result of your challenges that you've
Hmm.
experienced in your life?
Ooh, that's a good question. What other tools would you say it's going through life, just getting so many, like, no's. I mean, not even just with the whole, like, dad situation, just in general. Like, for example, when I was 18 years old, I went off to college, whatever, but I actually got pregnant. So then I had a child at 19. So at that time, I was working 2 jobs and also going to school. And back then, I remember saying like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna move to New York, and I'm gonna get into banking and do this and that," and people are looking at me like, you don't have a degree, you have this kid." But, like, I worked so hard, I was like, "Okay, first things first, I have to get the degree." So, got the degree, paid my way through school and so forth. Did that, and then when I did that, one of the things that I did was I start, like, cold emailing people. Like, "Hey," and of course you get ignored and you get the no's as well, but I was like, "You know what? It is what it is. Either I can try, and at least I know the outcome, or I could, like, not try, and then I'll just never know the outcome." I have this big thing about shoot your shot. Like, I don't wanna have a shoulda, coulda, woulda. I always say that. But I think that also made me resilient as well. Like, I was ignored, and I would say that made me resilient as well. It's just I just I have to shoot my shot, and then, of course, it doesn't always go through, but when it doesn't go through, it's like, "Okay, Cora, pick yourself back up, try again." And because and the thing is, if you get a no or someone ignores you, you're just in the same position, so why not? I mean, you're not gonna be worse off, so just try.
Yeah. Well, it's important not to take the no's personally either.
Exactly.
Because you never know the reason behind that no. You never know what's going on behind the scenes, but
That's
you
true.
but you just keep trying anyway. Because you might get 20 no's, but then that one yes turns out to be gold
Exactly. Yep.
and turns out to be the stepping stone to achieving your goals and, just more accomplishment, more career
Mhm.
stability. That's right. I remember during our pre-call, you mentioned that you were a single parent. And
Mhm.
I also have a special place in my heart for single parents since my mom
Oh,
raised me after
Mm-hmm.
my father left when I was 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She raised me as a single parent only child. Although through the wonders of AncestryDNA, I found out I got another sister, and that was about 5 years
Nice.
ago, which was kind of cool. But well,
Nice.
yeah. But I also have a special place in my heart for single parents who have to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I also suspect that's where also you developed a lot of your resilience too. Is and I bet
Mm-hmm.
you were fiercely protective of your child.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, and I'm like, please, like, don't. It's like I don't want you to go through what I went through. And then maybe I was a little too protective because I was like, wait a minute, did I shield you too much? And like now you're a little spoiled. And I'm like, yeah, yes,
Well,
that definitely built resilience because oh God, yes, because it's like you have this person to live for, so it's like you have to do it.
yeah. I mean, basically, do you have a son or a daughter?
I have a daughter
You have
and
a
a son,
and a
daughter
son.
and a son. Yes, it was my daughter at that time, and
Yeah.
then yeah, yep.
Yeah. So basically, you're going to be like a very protective mother hen.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something from what I've seen of you, Corey, you're a force in nature. And
Oh, thank you.
I wouldn't want to get in the way of you and your kids.
Oh, thank you.
We have a couple of more questions for you. I'll include one surprise question.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But I think you're going to like this one. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, let's go with the surprise question first.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I want you to think for a second. If you
Okay.
can construct the perfect day
Ooh.
for yourself,
Mhm.
what would that perfect day look like and why?
Ooh, no work. No, let me quit.
I think that's cool.
Oh, wow, the perfect day? Like, just a full day with family, maybe in another country somewhere. It's just about those memories. I'm very big about creating memories because I have this thing about, like, we're here today, gone tomorrow. So I would just say being with family and spending that time together, doing something maybe that we all haven't done before, just so therefore we have that memory. And then I also have this thing about the first. Whenever like the kids are going through something that's like the first, I'm taking pictures and stuff and they get embarrassed. But but, but yeah, I would just say just yeah, spending time with them because yeah, here today, gone tomorrow. And once I'm gone, just they can have that memory.
Yeah. And of course, you probably would want to top it off with a nice glass of your favorite wine at the end of the day, too.
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
Well, what is your favorite wine, by the way?
It's the Gewürztraminer, it's fine.
The
Nobody keep
Richard.
talking to me.
Oh, cool. I'll have to find out why that's your favorite wine then. So,
It's really nice, clean, crisp, and usually it has notes of lychee, like blossom. It is very aromatic. Some people may not be into aromatic, but it smells so good. Just like, swirling the wine to open up and just sniff it. I could just like sniff it all day.
I have a good friend who's a wine connoisseur. He's got his own wine refrigerator in the cellar, and
Mhm.
whenever brings out one of his wines and shows me a new wine, he also sniffs it. He has to be sniffed the cork, so he's into the aroma as well too. So I mean, I think if it smells appealing, you're going to be drawn to it. I think that's the first thing. And when I drink it, and I think wine appeals to all of your senses. It's a multi-sensory
Mhm.
experience if you allow it to be.
Exactly. Yes.
Corey, you've left us with a lot of good stuff today. But I'm going to ask you to leave us with one thing that you want
Mhm.
our audience to remember about our conversation today. What would that be?
Please shoot your shot because you never know like what may come out of it. I mean, if you get a no, that's fine. You get a no, but you may get that yes, and that yes may change your life. So definitely shoot your shot.
Yeah. Don't give up.
Yes, exactly.
Now, if listeners want to contact you, find out
Mhm.
more about aesthetic wines, what's the best way for them to do that, Cora?
You can go online at aestheticwines.com. You can also go on Instagram at Aesthetic Wines. Also TikTok at Aesthetic Wines. So that's where you can locate us.
And I will make sure your contact information gets into the episode notes before we go
Yes.
live on YouTube and my other podcast platforms. Cora, thank you so much today for just a wonderful conversation. I truly enjoyed it, and I hope we can stay in touch.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And with that, that's a wrap on another episode of the Teaching Journeys podcast. I'm your host, Dave Roberts, wishing you peace.